Hello everyone! Long story short, the third part of episode 79 just came out yesterday, and it seemed to be a giant mess. So many fans were left disappointed and simply confused, and here I am watching it all happening. So what the hell did we just see and why it happened? Was this episode really that bad as so many people talked about? Today I'll tell you everything that happened in Boom's latest release, both good and bad. And I will also explain to you what went wrong with this episode and what was the reason for it. Now get your tea and snacks ready and prepare to watch this video to the end. And be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. And now let's move on to the content of the third part of episode 79. So, the events of the previous episode continue in the beginning of this one as well. To be more precise, the ending repeats itself. Polycephaly TV Man says that nothing goes according to plan these days. After which POV Speakerman asks, "Why did you risk yourself? We're not as important." Polycephaly TV Man replies, "Idiot, you're all important to me." But then everyone notices that someone is teleporting away, and with the words, "There's no place left to escape your doom," Titan TV Man arrives. Astro Squad appears behind him, moving towards the agents with all its might, and the battle begins. And this whole battle, if we're being honest, looks like some kind of mess. Everyone is shooting in different directions, just trying to hit someone but not really managing to achieve that at the same time. Polycephaly TV Man gets attacked by Astro Hunter, and then he states, "I can't fight here." Then an explosion happens, and after that everyone teleports to an unknown territory where Polycephaly TV Man can actually fight. There is also no Titan TV Man teleporting in here, which is pretty convenient. So now the Alliance can actually do something against ISOTOILETs, and Polycephaly doesn't miss that chance. After all, there were only those Astro who were teleported nearby, so it was not that difficult to defeat them. Astro Hunter, for example, became literally torn in half altogether. But he still survives this and says, "My work is done here." After which he flies away in a hurry, as a true coward he is. The Astro who survived are also flying away from this place. Meanwhile, Polycephaly TV Man notices the tracking device and destroys it. After that he says, "That's it, let's get out of here." As he begins the teleportation activation, another Astro already arrives on the territory and then tries to create the new explosion but ultimately fails. The agents are hella confused as one of them says, "What was that?" And another one replies with, "Either they can't shoot or it was a deliberate miss." Sounds just like this episode in a whole. Huh? Okay, whatever. I'll talk more about that later in this video. So the agents manage to actually teleport away. And Polycephaly TV Man is surprised by everything. Astro appeared and then just ran away from the battlefield. Pretty strange indeed. Polycephaly TV Man tells that he doesn't sense any enemies around, and then he gives the cameraman a task to detect any spies. The POV Speaker Man goes on a search and says to himself that these are not spies. And then he notices a tracking device which he breaks down. It seems that Astro's main purpose was to monitor the agent's activity in order to find another Alliance's base. It was obvious enough they didn't want to fight. It was just a distraction to start tracking them all. The cameramen's base has been completely destroyed earlier, but there are still Speakermen and TV Men bases for the Astros to be found. So now their main target is the Speakerman's base, to which the agents went as well. Moreover, Speakerman tells Polycephaly that he has discovered 6 tracking devices here, and he begins to destroy them all. Astro did their best and installed more than one tracker though. But it looks like our POV has a specific locator that manages to find them. By the way, one of the trackers was in a very interesting place, to be more precise, at the bottomless hole of this Astro Hunter. Yes, that's how he carried it in. It's a very interesting place to hide a tracker, that's for sure. But unfortunately for the carrier, it was still found by our team of agents. Polycephaly TV Man asks, "Is that all?" And the Speaker Man replies to him, "Your head." Eventually, the last surveillance device gets destroyed as well. Polycephaly TV Man then says, "Let's get out of here." But then we hear the voice of Titan TV Man, aka Watchman of Doom, who says, "Silly clankers. It's just a matter of time until you succumb. Now, we own this place." It seems like too much time has already passed since Astro installed the tracking devices, and Titan TV Man managed to finally teleport in here. So after his epic arrival, Polycephaly TV Man flies up to him and says, "So let's go one-on-one with swords, coward." Titan TV Man starts shooting Polycephaly TV Man down, who dodges successfully, but at some point the shot hits the target, unfortunately. And then Titan TV Man tells him, You wanted my big long sword? You can have it. Titan TV Man starts moving closer and closer, but then all of a sudden Jeffrey appears. Yeah, that one mysterious TV man who we saw for a moment in the TV Men's teleportation abyss dimension. He tells Titan TV Man, "Whose mad dog got off the leash? This is my residence, my universe, and I am God here." After that, Jeffrey gives the notable slap in the Titan TV Man's face, and well, that's where the battle ends, apparently. It wasn't as epic as we all expected it to be, isn't it? After that, our POV loses his consciousness, and when he wakes up, he finds himself at the Speakerman's base, where everyone teleported to after that battle. But before I'll move on to the ending of the episode, let me say a couple of words about the notorious Jeffrey, because there's quite a lot to unpack. So, who Jeffrey is actually. What is this TV man as an entity? In case you don't remember, he made his first appearance in episode 78, in an abyss dimension where all TV men happen to be once they teleport to long distances. And Polycephaly talked about this dark space of TV men and seemed to hint that those who stay there for way too long become something like Jeffrey, the mad forgotten TV man. So, was that actually not true, and Jeffrey is something else? Because in this episode we heard Jeffrey declaring that he is the god of this universe, and I think that's probably what he thinks he truly is, but I can't say that we should believe his words. He literally sounds like a madman. Although I admit he's definitely very powerful, and he's probably even bigger than Titan TV Man himself. Just notice what a giant hand he has, for example. Perhaps he was a Titan even before the existence of Titan TV Man. And what would happen if he got out of this TV Men's dark space successfully? Well, it's way too uncanny to even imagine. However, I also think that no matter how crazy or unhinged Jeffrey is, he probably won't ever plan to get out, as he is literally a part of the abyss now. And if he believes that he is indeed a god of this space, then there is no point in leaving something where you are a literal king with no competition, isn't it? By the way, I also noticed how he didn't touch any other agents but only Watchmen of Doom, who claimed to own this place. So he probably only cared about those who fancied themselves to be in charge here, like Watchmen of Doom and Astro. In any case, I hope that Boom will tell us more details about this character in the future episodes, because right now, I am really interested in him. This is some kind of crazy TV man who can definitely be used as a weapon in the future, either by the Alliance or someone else. But it will definitely be very difficult. Okay, so once everyone teleports away, the POV Speakerman asks Polycephaly TV Man, "Are you okay?" And he says in response, "It's just a scratch." Then we see TV Man Scientist, who turns to Polycephaly TV Man and says, "That's it, now you're taking a real rest." To which Polycephaly TV Man replies, "Oh yes, I freaking am." So now we see that the agents got teleported to the Speakerman's base, finally. And by the way, this base was animated by Zach Dorr, one of the Skibidi Toilet YouTube animators who's working with Boom currently and is a part of his animating team now. I think many people already know about him, and I myself made several videos about this animator's difficult relationship with Boom a few years ago. The Speakerman goes ahead and then yells at everyone, "You seeing this?" Because what he's referring to is Camera Woman, who seems to be completely safe and sound. He gets closer to Camera Woman and asks her, "How are you alive? You died." She looks at him with great surprise, and the other Speakerman asks him, "What are you yapping about?" Then TV Man Scientist approaches POV Speakerman and says, "You must have hit your head. She's been here for hours now." But the Speakerman answers him, "My camera recorded it." And then Detective Cameraman comes into play, who takes the camera to see whether the POV Speakerman has been telling a truth or not. And by the way, as he takes the camera off him and turns it around, you can actually see how traumatized the POV Speakerman looks. It's like he literally survived through a shell shock. It's obvious how much he's been through and how many atrocities and horrible things he witnessed. Okay, and now let's discuss Camera Woman, who is kind of dead. Or is she? We saw her passing with our own very eyes in the previous episode, but here she just appears as if nothing had ever happened. At first I thought it was some kind of prank, but then I thought about it more thoroughly. After all, in the scene of how she died, for 1 microsecond we could actually notice how someone's dark silhouette appeared in front of her at the last moment. So there are 2 possible options of what might have happened to her. The first option is that someone either revived her and didn't say anything to her, so she herself was not aware of what she went through. That's why she looked so surprised at the POV's words. Or maybe she actually knew everything and was just playing her role well. She may have been recruited as another agent for the Windows family too, and we have already seen the recruitment process at the end of Season 25. This is not the first time of seeing it for us, so maybe history repeats itself now, only this time with Camera Woman. We can say that a very large piece of information was cut off for us at the time when all of this happened, and now we have to figure out all the details of what is happening on our own. Well, this is not the first time for Boom to do something like this to us, right? It's also worth mentioning that Detective Cameraman has already possessed some bits of information about the secret agent. At the very least, he asked who he is, and perhaps his story arc will soon find a sequel in the next episodes. And I think it's also no wonder why he exactly took the camera off the gray speaker man. I believe all of this will soon get more things to come. Okay, and now let's get back to Camera Woman. In any case, she is alive and probably has very important information contained within her brain, but I will only note that most likely this information has been either erased from her memory or simply blocked by some mental wall. I'm talking about everything regarding the secret organization of which she's probably a part now already, and which I personally would like to know a lot more about. And I think Boom, as it fits his own style well, will eventually give us literal bits of new information with each new episode of Skibidi Toilet series to come, so that gradually we will learn something new. In the meantime, we are only on the first page of this new mystery, and I hope that in the future, all this will be fully revealed. In the meantime, though, I have a theory that with Camera Woman's return to the Alliance, the secret agent has another trusted person who will work both ways for him, which is very convenient. Cameraman's base got destroyed, so now Speakerman's base is much more relevant, and it's incredibly convenient for the secret agent to have Camera Woman at the Speakerman's base now as the observer of all the current events. So we can say that soon she will be transmitting all the important information directly to the secret agent. Is this a good thing or a bad thing for the Alliance, though? Well, I think we'll find that out soon enough in the future episodes. By the way, as you can remember, there was a statue of Plungerman at the Cameraman's base, indistinguishable from his real model. And the Speakerman's base also has a statue of the Dark Speakerman, which we have already seen in one of the spoiler images. It's a pity that this is not the return of this character as such. I liked him very much. But the fact that the Speakerman still built a statue in his honor is also quite good to know. Meanwhile, the third part of episode 79 ends with the long-awaited appearance of Titan Speakerman. Well, not his full appearance, I must say, but a direct hint of it, which has already been indicated in one of the recent spoilers for this episode. And he even says something that sounds like, "Take your time, friends, I'll go when I'm ready, don't rush it." And after these words, the iron gates begin to open, and we see a red glow. When the gate has opened even more, we could actually see the outline of one of his speakers, too. TV Man Scientist then asks someone in the dark, "Is he ready?" And the Speaker Man engineer answers him, "Almost ready." And then the scientist says the phrase we already saw twice before this episode, "It's time to clap back for real." And then we could hear Titan Speakerman breaking in and yelling, "Let's kick those toilets' butts, folks!" It looks like Titan Speakerman has fully finished his transformation into upgraded form at this point, but it's all happening literally on a black screen and we can't see anything ourselves, which was definitely a choice. On that note, the episode ends. And of course, you can tell from it how much the quality bar has gotten lower. And now I want to touch on this topic in more detail and literally list out what I personally didn't like about this episode at all. In some moments, there are literally no sound effects, no music. Some moments end in an empty place. And in the end, we see that the textures within the Speakerman's base are literally flashing and lugging, and animations are not 100% worked out as they used to be. Although the Speakerman's base looks interesting for sure, we were only shown just one room, but this flashing of textures is very distracting from its design. Previously, we could also notice some inaccuracies and flaws in Skibidi Toilet episodes, especially the early ones, but this was very rare, and it happened not that often. But this one episode is literally just one big flaw in itself, and it's really hard to ignore. How can this be explained? Are we really supposed to believe that Boom just didn't notice all these mistakes? And this despite the fact that he is a perfectionist, he himself constantly told us about it. All right, so it's time to put on our tinfoil hats, people, because it's conspiracy theory hour. So here's what I think. There are two possible explanations for what just happened. Here's option number one. This entire episode was just a giant troll. A joke on all the fans who've been waiting forever for its release. Basically, it may be just a warm-up act before the real full episode that's actually going to look decent enough. And why do I think that? Well, you all know that Boom's been catching a lot of heat from his own fan base for taking way too long time to make each episode. So maybe this time, he finally gave in to the pressure from the public and rushed Part 3 out just to shut everyone up, but at the cost of his usual quality and infamous attention to detail. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he intentionally made the animation, sound, and plot moments look even worse than they initially were, just so that more people would notice that something is off. Like a subtle little statement from Boom himself that says something like, "That's what you get for rushing me all the time, y'all." Well, I'm still not sure about it, guys. I mean, look, it's totally his right to do whatever he wants with his own series. But if that was really his way of making a certain point for his haters or something like this, I don't think it landed too well. Moves like that can easily scare off the wider audience who waits for each new episode, but also is quick to hop off the hype train if they see the series' quality going down so low. And honestly, I also didn't love what he was trying to prove with such a low-effort episode. I thought it felt like a spit into his fans' face. And then there's theory number 2. Maybe Boom didn't make this episode at all. I mean, on his own. Maybe he handed the whole project over to his assistant animators and just dipped. No directing, no rendering oversight, nothing. And that was the result. Either way, what we're seeing right now is a very visible drop in quality for Skibidi Toilet. You can trace it right back to around season 25. And if you compare the older episodes to the one we just got today, yeah, the difference is kind of brutal. In any case, I still hope it was just a big fat prank from Boom, and the full episode 79 will be looking much better, and we'll actually see the upgraded Titan Speakerman as he is. And what do you guys think about all of this? Did you like this episode or not? And that was all for today. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, hit the like button below and also be sure to write a comment too. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel not to miss my new interesting videos. And that was me, ISOTOILET. See ya!